Good evening. Good evening. Welcome to Build Your Best Life with Coach Deborah D. Smith. I am super excited to have you on today because you could have been anywhere else, but you decided to join us. Hey, guess what? We only have two more broadcasts in this month. Saturday is July. I cannot believe it. Well, I'm excited because for this one of these last broadcasts, I have the pleasure of having my husband, Deacon Dan Smith, as my guest. How are you, Dan?
I am great. And how are you, Deborah?
I'm doing wonderful, doing wonderful. Thank you for tuning in, everyone. Please make sure that you comment. Good evening, Peggy. How are you? Please come on in and comment, share, make sure that you like my Build Your Best Life Facebook page. I will not be able to see you or your comments if you haven't liked my Build Your Best Life page. So make sure that you like it, share it with your friends, your coworkers, family members, just everyone that will assist us in reaching out to help young men build their best lives. So, Dan, I know you've been on here before, but we would love, love, love for you to share what's going on with you. And then those who don't know you, tell them a little bit about yourself.
My name is Dan Smith Jr., and I am the husband of Coach Deborah D. Smith. We have four wonderful children, three boys, one girl, and six grandchildren. I'm a retired law enforcement officer. I've, after almost 40 years of service, I retired from the law enforcement, but I did not retire from work because I started something that my daddy taught me a long time ago in carpentry, handyman work. I started handyman service, and I started lawn service. So I am still a go-getter, and I be trying to help young men or men into my business so they can earn money and then earn a trade and learn a lot. But I'm also the chairman of the Deacon Board of St. Paul Missionary Baptist Church under the leadership of Pastor Bishop John Eric Guns. I love what I'm doing. I love my family. And I just love God. Thank you. That's it.
Well, thank you so much. Good evening to Agnes and Tamika. Thank you for tuning in. We are going to get into this broadcast. Well, I know most of you have heard the very often used phrase, teach a man to fish, you feed him for a day. If you teach a man to fish, if you give a man a fish, you feed him for a day. But if you teach a man to fish, you feed him for a lifetime. So our topic today is actually teach a man to fish. So, Dan, what does the quote about teaching a man to fish mean to you?
Well, that quote means teach a man something in life that will last him a lifetime. Some type of trade or some other type of any type of way of employment that a young man can carry, for a lifetime. Because you feed him, and like you said, that quote you said, you feed him, you give a man a fish, you feed him for a day, but you teach him how to fish, and you feed him for a lifetime. But I found that if you teach a man how to fish, and the Bible quote about fishing for men, it will give give the young man some type of experience under his belt that he has he can fall back on. And what I mean by that is, I'm gonna give you a prime example. Uh, when I started out, I was just finished high school, and I started working full time and going to college at night. So the work, they did a reduction in workforce, and I was in that layoff. But I never stopped doing things because my father had taught me how to. I had learned how to paint. I had to learn how to did different things, and the the men's that at the shop was calling me, hey, I need you to paint my house. I need you to paint my Eve. I need you to do this. So I'm basically saying that if you got something behind you in your background that you don't learn, a trade or whatever, you still go a long ways. I never missed a beat. I had bought a new house, just never missed a payment. I didn't say, what am I going to do? I just said, Lord, help me.
All right, thanks. All right, so teaching people beneficial tools or skills that will help them along the way, not just giving them something. Uh, Now, we both know my mom loved fishing and you love to fish, but I want no parts of it. I want no parts of it. My mother would fish in any weather condition. She didn't care if it was raining hard, as long as it wasn't lightning. If it was cold, she did not care if she caught anything or if she didn't. And I would ask her, why do you do that? And she said she liked to go and fish and pray and cast her worries to the Lord. Now, Dad, why do you love to fish?
Well, I had that same respect as your mother did. Uh, go fishing for relaxation, opportunity to just look out at the water that what God had put on this earth, and just meditate. If the fish biting, that's fine. They're not biting, that's okay too. But it give me an opportunity to meditate. And then if I got one of the sons with me, give me an opportunity to see how he's growing to be a young man, uh, what things he's doing or what direction he's going in. And I can give him some advice of what you need to do or which way to go. But it's very relaxing in fishing. And that's why you say your mom would say cast, about praying, and you're just sitting there, you're just looking at the water and be amazed how God put this together, how the water's moving around you. But I just love to throw out that pole and sit and watch it just to see if a fish come bite. But it's enjoying doing that. I just love doing it. And like I say, if I catch fish, that's fine. If I don't, that's fine. I mean, if sometimes it be hot out there, real hot, but you always can find a shady spot on part of the bridge or whatever. But most of the time, we go fishing would be in a boat. Uh, but you can find a shady spot, pull up under the bridge, and then sit there. And the wind is blowing. You have a nice wind blowing. So you got a mixture. You got God's water, you got God's wind. So it's just a great time to meditate and to think. Give directions, what direction you're going, or what are you planning. So that's why I love to fish.
Okay. So now, can anybody fish? I mean, is there art to fishing, or you just throw the line out and you are guaranteed to catch fish?
Well, there is an art, and I took we call my net. He calls himself he's my nephew, and he said he's a fisherman. So we was out there watching him, and I told him like this. I said, "Hey, the key to throwing that reel is the flip of the wrist. You can get a lot of action with the flip of the wrist. You can toss it out a long ways. So it's an art. It's nothing. You just can't go out there and say, "Well, I'm just gonna throw it out." You don't, how you fishing. You don't know how to fish, and also when the fish bites, you got to set your hook. which means you got to put the hook in the fish mouth, so you could bring him in, so you'll be able to catch it. If not, he'll spit the bait right out. So yes, there's a unique techniques you have to learn about fishing. Not only that, you have to learn what type of weight you want to put on uh, to see how far whether it's stay on the bottom of the water. Most fish bite off the bottom. You have a few that bite off the top when you're fishing for trout or something. That's with live bait. You fish off the top, but the trout will bite off the bottom also. But it's just it's a it don't take a rocket science to learn how to fish. It just take concentration, skills that you can learn easily and enjoy.
Okay, Trees, we go take his word for it, right?
Well, we talk about trees. Let me tell you about trees. We went fishing. We went on a base, and Tracy, she would throw. We were throwing the pole out for her, and we throw our pole out. All she wanted to do is wind it in. So we kept winding, and she wanted to pass it on us. Lamar was with her that day. She wanted to pass the pole to us, so she, hey, here go. I got a fish. Wind it in. So we winded in our fish. Well, maybe after she got 4 or 5, we got 4 or 5 of hers in. We told her, hey, we got the fish. We ain't winding no more. So Trish like the fish too now.
Okay.
So you still owe me that one trip.
Eh. Well, I see we have some more people that have joined us. Hello, Yvonne, Deacon Holmes, Tree, Salandra. Thank y'all for tuning in. So you told us all about this fishing, and we've heard about teaching someone how to fish rather than giving them a fish. But how can you take the concept of teaching someone to do something rather than giving them something or doing things for them and relate it to mentoring young men? So that same concept of not giving them a fish, but teaching them how to fish, and relate that to skills and mentoring young men.
Yes, well, you teach them a skill, whether it be in carpentry, it could be in lawn service, it could be laying bricks, bricklayer. But what you do, you teach them that, and that way they have something additional that they're trained and learned and have some exposure to that will make them a better person. Because it's just, you just can't, I mean, with just one, you just have one experience, especially for a man, young man. If you just got one thing under your belt, it's good to have more than one thing under your belt. Take for instance, you teach them. Let me back up on to the 3 boys. Each one of them had a job during the summer, and it wasn't like, hey, I don't know this job or whatever. They enjoyed what they was doing, and each one of them had different jobs. One worked at a restaurant, one worked at Walmart, and one worked at UPS. So you see the variety of things they did, but each one had to learn what to do. So if they had the opportunity to do it, they learned it, which was great, because you never know what you're gonna have in the future or what you can do, the things you can do, and you can say the same thing that you say you cannot do. You have the opportunity to learn. So that's why you sort of like expose them to different things, so they have that learning ability, have that skill set up under their belt, so they can do well. You don't. A lot of times, you just don't depend on one thing. You have to do more than one. All 3 of mine. If they doing projects, if they have some doubt or some questions about it, they always call me, and I go show them, help them, talk it over through the phone, and they get the hang of it. So don't have to worry about them calling service guy, service tech, or whatever. It's involving plumbing, it's involving working on their appliances, uh, developing a building, a chef or something of that nature. You know, they had that skill with them asking me, and I helped them show them how to do it, and they did it on their own, which was great. And they're very proud of their skills that they have learned. So that's one of the things that is good to do, because you don't have to always call a plumber. You don't have to always call a appliance technician. You don't always have to call a carpenter, because you learn certain things under your belt. It'll work for you.
Awesome. Well, good evening. We got some more people that have come on to hear our topic tonight, which is teach a man to fish. So I want to say welcome to Eva, Deacon Holmes, Sister Catherine Trotter, and Mr. Bobby Bland. Thank you all so much for tuning in. We're having a great discussion about teaching young men skills rather than always just giving them things. Sometimes we can tend to give them things instead of allowing them to earn, or they want to do something new, like which the examples you gave of the sons. I guess you could have said, "Oh, I got it, I'll do it for you, son," but they asked, and so instead of you just outright doing it for them, you assisted them and showed them how to do it. So as they work to do it each time, they get a little bit better and a little bit better. So I'm sure. So where did you get your love? Because I think you can do it just about anything. So where did you get that from? Watching your dad?
Yes, my dad. When I was 8 years old, I followed my dad. He was a carpenter in carpentry. He worked he rebuilt houses. He painted. Everything that he did, I watched him how he did it, from plumbing to electrical. Now he didn't do a whole lot of electrical, but I still do electrical, but I know my limits. Because electricity is nothing to play with. It will bite you. But a young man must be taught to think and to act from conscious. So yeah, that's why I get that. And I took that. I paid a whole lot of attention to what he was doing. It wasn't my desire to become a carpenter, or electrician, or plumber, but it was something that I enjoyed watching him do, and I just picked up naturally just picked up things that he did, and I'm still learning.
Yep, it's amazing that you can. They say we should learn something new every day. So that's something that we can continue to do, is not only learn new things, but to go take those skills that we do already have and work on them to make them even better.
True.
And if any of you have comments, things that you can think of, or you agree or disagree, feel free to put your comments in the comment section and share them with everyone. Okay, Dan. So, what are the pros of teaching a young man the basic principles of life? I know a lot of basic principles are no longer taught the way they were when we were coming up. We learned them at home, we learned them at school. It's very hard to find them now, but I think basic principles will never go away. That's something that will continue. I don't care how much we get technology and other things, basic principles will never go away. So, what are the pros of teaching a young man about basic principles?
I believe that the pros of teaching a young man the basic principle, he can exceed better in life than not learning these pros. Teaching the pros supposed to teaching the principles of life, because you got some young men that if you don't teach them, they can go down the wrong direction. So you have to keep them encouraged. You have to teach. You have to teach them. You have to talk to them, and then you give them advice. Allow them to talk to you, so you can hear what they're saying and what their feelings are, and you listen to their what they're saying, and then you give them advice on that. But those are the pros to keep them. They got to keep them. I know a lot of fellas uh, that have been incarcerated, and they're out now. And after you talk to them for a while, sometimes they'll tell you, I wish you was around before I got incarcerated. I said, why you say that? Because nobody never told me the basic principles. I said, yeah, okay, that's true. So what did they really tell you? Well, they just told me I'm not going to be, nothing uh, in life. So, but my thing to you was, did you listen to that? Well, that's what they kept saying. I said, who kept saying? The teachers. Uh, I said, really? The teachers told you that? I said, this is what you were taught in school. But I'm here to tell you, you can do anything you set your mind to do. So that's one thing about teaching the men the basic principle of life, what life can bring them, which way direction life can take them down, what they need to look for, the pros and the cons, what they need to do, need not to do, and that's help them that way. And always allow them to be able to talk to you, or be able to come to you and ask you questions. So that will take them a long ways, because uh, these days the information they're learning out there, the techniques they're learning out there now are not necessarily good for them. It's bad for the society. Society. It's and it could end up getting them in trouble. And that's one of the biggest things that I'm adamant about, to keeping the young men out of trouble. So whatever information I could give them, pros and cons, and I do. Young ladies come to me also. I'm not going to, discriminate, but the young ladies will come too also.
Well, I often like to say, well, a lot of people will speak negatively about our young men and say, well, they're not doing this and they're not doing that, but they don't take the time to reach out and suggest or teach them anything. But I believe, and I could be wrong, that a lot of people or young men don't do better because they don't know better. You can't do what you don't know. So if no one is teaching you basic principles, life skills, respect, how to select your friends, whatever, I don't think that we should expect expect them to always be able to walk that path that we want them to walk, because if they don't know, they don't know, and they might not know that they don't know. They're just doing what they see other people do. So if you live in a negative environment, you pick up negative things. So what do you think about that, about more people reaching out and teaching or showing rather than speaking negatively?
Well, we do need that, as long as they got a positive attitude in the growth of a young man, what direction he need to go, telling him the right things, keep from doing the wrong things, and it's reaching out to him and helping him. Keep an open channel of communication. I tell you, communication is one of the biggest things that they need to keep open, a line of communication. Even you just have to make time with a young person. Even though if you say, well, I'm busy now, but no, just stop. Say, okay, what's the problem? Talk to me. Tell me what you need, what's going on, and you listen, and then give them advice, uh, positive advice. Even if you got to go, I tell mine, hey, you know, about praying now. We pray every day. I don't know how many dads do that, but that's something that they're grown. I'm talking about my sons in what mid 40s, early 40s, 30s. But we pray, and not only my son, my daughter too. So praying daily, and asking God to give them guidance and understanding. That would be one of the best things you can do to get a young man or a young lady advice in what direction to go.
Right, thank you for that. Like the comment, Sister Trotter added, I agree. Truly listening to our young people and hearing their heart, make a connection with them, be honest and open. Most definitely. Let's see, we have another comment. Says that is true. I can't do something I have not been taught. That's correct. So everybody is saying, well, they're just not doing anything. They're hanging on the corners. They're doing this. They're doing that. They're not doing this. Okay, but do you ever stop to make a suggestion? Or if you are men out there, talk to me, men. Are you see that young man? Do you try to stop and say, hey, I'm on my way to church. Would you like to go to church? Or stop to talk to them, or see them doing something wrong? And maybe sometimes you don't have to have a conversation about, oh, well, every time I pass by here I see you on the corner. Why do you always hang on the corner? You can say, I pass by here often and I've seen you and I've been wanting to stop, but sometimes today you never know how somebody will react if you stop and talk to them. But I keep having that feeling that I wanted to stop and talk to you. So how old are you, young man? So you can gauge by that age if there's somebody that's not going to school. Because if you see them during the day, they're not going to school. So you graduated early? Oh, you're not going to school now. What happened? You had to stop to take care of your mom or something? But just have some casual conversation and just talk. Next time you might stop and you go a little further. But our theme here for 2023 is reach out. And if we all reach out and assist a little bit, if everybody can help at least one person, that would be so great, I think.
Yeah, I agree with you on that because I went to look at it was on a Sunday, uh, a job, meet another contractor. We meet up together, look at it together. And but when I arrived, there was two young men there. One had just cut the grass, and they're just standing up there talking. So I went on and introduced myself, and we talked about 30 minutes. I found out a whole lot about them in them 30 minutes. The guy said, "Well, I was been just come back from Chicago. Me and my wife, we couldn't make it. So I quit. Well, why you couldn't make it? Well, I said, no, let me tell you what it was. He said, what you think it was? I said, because you did not want to listen. You want to go your way, your direction. Marriage is a two-way street. He said, yeah, you're right. He said, what are you, a preacher? I said, no, I'm a deacon. But more than that, I'm here. I guess God sent me here to talk to both of you today. And we talked and we talked and we talked. And they got some understanding. And then a strange thing happened. It was on a Sunday. I was to the house on a Wednesday, and somebody was knocking on the door. And it was him, one of the guys I was talking to. He said, I don't know if I want to really do this. I'm not sure what I'm doing. I said, have a seat. So he's outside. He sat down. I said, now what's on your mind? Just tell me what's on your mind, just straight up. Well, I'm trying to get in this. He was telling me what he's trying to get into. And then I said, oh, okay. Well, whatever if you think you want to go into music, go into music. If you know somebody need to go into music, go into music. But I got to get to Atlanta. I said, so at no point in time, I know what he was alluding to, that he needed some funds. But at no point in time, I would say anything for, I don't know, 20 minutes. or so had gone by, and he was finna go. He said, "Man, I appreciate you talking to me." I say, "Hey, by the way, take this and put it towards your trip." He turned around and looked at me. He said, "You know, you're the first person to give me something and told me to take it toward my trip." He said, "I'm gonna put this in I'm gonna put this in my wallet. I'm gonna save it until I accumulate the money." I said, "But in the meantime, if for some reason you need some necessities that you got to get, go ahead and take that money and purchase it." So he really appreciated me. He walked off, he left, and you know, I think he heard me. I think he heard me. I really did.
Awesome stuff. Thank you so much. All right. I think this has been a great talk. Let's teach our young men some skills, those things that they're not getting at school any longer. Maybe they're not teaching at home because some parents may be younger, so they may not have been taught life principle, a bit basic principles. So if they didn't know them or learn them, then they can't teach them to their children. So somebody has to do it. So why not I? Why not you? Just think about it. If you see one person and say one encouraging thing to one person every time you're out and about, if it's nothing but hello, have a blessed day. Because you just never realize how many people go home to four walls that they don't have any food. The walls may have holes in them. They may not really have anywhere to live. They just putting their heads down wherever they can, or they've lost their jobs, and I don't know why they can't find one because they got a lot of them out there. But for whatever reason, it's not for us to judge, but it's for God. Has given us the assignment to help people. So that's not always giving them money, giving them fish, giving them clothing, giving them whatever, but teaching them. Have you looked for a job? You're trying to go to Atlanta and you want to get into music. That's wonderful because everybody should follow your passion. I mean, God gives us all purpose. So if He's giving you music, that's wonderful. However, in the meantime, you have to eat. You need a roof over your head. Have you ever thought about what kind of skills do you have? Have you ever thought about getting a job and saving up X amount of money, giving yourself a 6-month window, 12-month window, a 9-month window to get so much money, enough to make a start in another city? You ever thought about that? Oh, I ain't thought about it that way. I was just trying to get enough money to go. But that makes sense. To get a job, maybe get some benefits, and then I might have to wait a year or two to reach my dream, but it'll be worth it if I do it the right way. So sometimes just dropping some nuggets to someone, you never know who you're helping. A smile, you know. Sometimes I'll say something to somebody and they'll say, "Oh, well, yeah, but this was going on." So, you know, I didn't answer. This was going on. I've been going on with this. And so nobody needs to tell their business because I don't tell all of mine. So you never know what someone is going through. But if we take the time to, hey, have a nice day. If you ever need me, give me a call. We can pray. You never know who you are uplifting. So we can all do that. But I do appreciate this talk and tonight. So Dan, dads that are intentional about teaching their sons can make a huge positive aspect in the lives of their sons. So as we close out, please give our dads some tips on principles to teach their sons to assist them in building their best lives.
Sure. My major principle is to communicate with your sons because you want them to come back to communicate you. The communication and keep the communication open because all of mine come back and communicate with me. Even when the point they was I keep remembering is wanted to get married and they said they want to talk to me. So I think I was doing something outside. So I stopped, and one was telling me he gonna finna get married. I said, okay, you got a good job, you got responsibilities. I said, okay, that's fine. You know, you got to know really what you're getting into. The other one said, what do you think about me getting engaged? I said, what I think about you getting engaged? Well, I'm not getting, and I'm not gonna get married right now, but I'm just gonna get engaged. I said, okay, well, if you're not gonna get married, you're gonna get engaged. But I'm gonna tell you, you need to have a job with benefits, not something just temporarily, you know. So you in training, you in school, whatever. I said, okay, wait till you get out, make sure you finish, make sure you got this job, and be on at least for a year. So you just wait and take your time because that's a major step you're doing. Teach them one of the other things. Have your son keep your son to let him know that hey, always keep an open mind and always learn something every day. You know, observe what's going on. If you around somebody that's doing some type of work, learn it. If you at work, you have a job that is something else coming up, and you think you're interested in it, whether you're interested or not, learn it because you never know. You might have an important part play in that particular position, so you have that under your belt. Give your sons all types of tips. Love them. Teach them how to respect young ladies, respect their wives. Teach them how to be gentlemen. You know, all my always say, I might open the door. It never fails that I don't open the door for my wife. Uh, Even if we going somewhere and I got other ladies, I try to get there to open the door for them. Even if I have to tell them, hey, don't touch that door. But that's just me. But you need to teach them everything that you can teach them that is positive so they can build their best life. And you want to, whatever like I say, but the main thing is keep a line of communication so you can communicate with your son and give him positive directions. Keep him with a positive attitude and make sure he prays. If he's not praying now, you pray with him and let him know that God will answer him and give him things that he's been asking for on God's time, not in his time. You can't rush God. So just, like I say, communicate, pray for him, uh, walk with him, and just give him guidance. Those are the tips I want to give tonight.
And those are some great tips. See if I can remember all of them. Okay.
Communication.
Huh?
Communication is the number one.
Communication. Teach them to have an open mind and learn something every day. Love themselves. Respect young ladies. Respect themselves. And and for dads to pray with their sons. Did I get them all?
Yeah, you got them all. Not only dads, but let them. They need to pray for themselves also.
Yeah, I think those are some great tips. Kudos, kudos, kudos. So I hope everyone enjoyed Teach a Man to Fish. And so, like I said, we hear that all the time, but basically what does that mean? That means that, it's better to be, I guess, self-sufficient than to, always look for someone to give you something, to do something for you. It's better if you have that skill, you can do it for yourself. Like today yesterday I had opportunity. I wanted something that I've never done before. And so I text the person and they said, so do you want me to do it for you or do you want me to walk you through it? So I have a gazillion things to do. So it'd been very easy for me to say, oh, do it for me. But I said, no, can you please walk me through it? So I learned something new. So if I had taken the easy way out, then I would not have learned, and then I couldn't use it going forward. So, learning those skills are very essential to us building our best lives. So thank you, thank you, thank you so much, Deacon Dan. And is there anything else that you thought of that you would like to share before we go?
Well, not only I just like to say, just not only the your sons, but your daughters too. I got a daughter. She learns and she watch stuff, and she'll show try to do it. Paint, cut a piece of board, lay a piece of towel or whatever. So, but I'm just saying that your daughter can do that too.
Yeah,
So, yeah,
very good.
kudos to Salandra.
Baby girl. Yes, thank you so much. And thank everyone for tuning in today. Please make sure that you join me on Thursday, our last broadcast for June, while we're reaching out to dads. And my topic is going to be fight or flight. Fight or flight. That's another one that I know everybody's heard of before. So that's what I'm going to be talking about on Thursday. So please make sure that you tune in if you are free or catch it on the rewind. Please visit my website, www.buildyourbestlife.org, where you can read the blog that comes out each Monday. So for those of you who did not know, I do release a new blog each Monday on some of the topics that will assist individuals in building their best lives. And then I have a calendar of events out for the remainder of the year. So you can look out to see for our major events, who our speakers are. And we do have our next event. It looks like the year is just rolling. But our next event starts July 31st and runs through August the 3rd, our educational symposium. I'm super excited about that. And also you can visit my store, which have the services that I offer. I'm a life coach, and I do consultations with young men, not only young men, because my degree is in human services counseling. So not just dealing with young men. So if there's someone that, you want to have that conversation, you want to run something past me, just reach out. I'm here. Do the coaching. I speak, do webinar speaking. And I wrote a book, Build Your Best Life, because this is actually my passion, to assist young men in building their best lives. So as I was doing this, I kept saying, well, I want to get this all around the world. I want to help young men all around the world. So how can I do that? Well, one way is a book, because a book can go everywhere. So I have this book. It's about your life, your actions, your credibility, and overcoming obstacles to build your best life. And the book is for everybody: parents, grandparents, educators, neighbors, young men, young women, you name it. And it's a great read. As you see, I got all these tabs because I refer to it for other things. And so I have them in stock. You can get your copy, autographed copy, by reaching out on my website. As well, if you like Kindle version, you prefer Kindle, you don't like paper anymore, Amazon.com does carry the Kindle version. But I do appreciate you all tuning in today. I hope to see some of you on Thursday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And again, thank you so much, everybody. And thank you, Dan, for tuning in.
You're welcome.
For speaking, coming on and being my guest today. I appreciate it.
You are welcome.
Okay. So as you go along your busy day, you might encounter a young man that has lost his way. Don't shake your head. Don't steady your pace. Stop. Reach out and give the young man a helping hand. So if we all reach out more and assist, we can do better and they can do better. And remember, building your best life is our business. That's not a slogan, it's our commitment. I love you. Be blessed. Stay safe. I will be looking for you Thursday. If you're not available, catch it on the rewind. Good night, everybody. See you, Dan.
Good night.
Bye-bye.